Hello and welcome to another Ball Blog video diary garden walk. Well, it's a misty morning, very misty. It's so much of what we call in these parts a sea har, that although it's not raining, there is moisture precipitating out of the atmosphere. I'm feeling it on me. So it's a nice relief for plants. It moistens them down. We had a sunny day yesterday, but still with a cold wind, and it's been very mixed weather again, with all sorts coming at us, from rain, hail, sleet, snow. Very little snow, it didn't lie. Strong winds, sunshine, and even the odd day when it was quite mild. But the plants are getting on. Up in this bed, this is the anemone ranunculoides, some of the multiplex forms. I'm not so sure I'm that keen on them, to be honest. We were gifted them, and I think I just like the plain single form better. But there we go. It's there. Some erythroniums. Some of them have gone over. The sunshine, the days when we had the heat and that, have pushed some over. But all over there's ones popping up. There's all sorts of hybrids appearing. This is self-seeded up in here. So these are hybrids. If we come round, these are some of my hybrids on trial to see which ones work best. And you know, when you see what does a hybrid give you, well, it gives you, for instance, 3 flowers on a stem. What are the flowers like inside? Well, quite nicely marked and quite nice leaves. They increase well. So this has got 3 flowers clustered towards the top. The one next to it, the flower stems branch off a bit lower. To be honest, these were 3 I selected to trial and see how they did. And they're all good garden plants. This is another one here that's now gone over. It came earlier, so it's gone over, and that's an interesting thing when you're selecting plants. Those 3 are flowering together, whereas that one flowered a bit earlier. But the big flushes, the really peak, has gone over of the erythroniums in the beds in the garden, although there are still some growing. This is White Beauty. And here we have the anemone hybrid. So Anemone rosa cross ranunculoides, so they cross Simani. More White Beauty. But it's just painting pictures with plants is a lovely thing to do. Using the colours, the shapes, the forms, the textures. And I always think the Anemone Simani phases in so well with the primroses. 2 side by side. Look at the difference in the size of the flowers. 2 different seedlings. More erythroniums down there. And of course now the leaves on the acers are coming out. And looking down across to the pyrrhus, the acer with the pyrrhus. And then there's the crinodendron there. It always looks scruffy at this time of year, but it's hanging with buds, and soon we'll have the bright red scarlet flowers. And then the trilliums are everywhere as well. So Trillium Kurubayashi types, I will call them. There's more over there, slightly different shape. I see the uvularia just starting to push through. That's its foliage there. Oh, I can just see the flower is called, I think it's called Maybells. Was the name for it in its native America, so it's lovely as it's coming out in May here in northeast Scotland. The bed we looked at previously, this little narrow bed with the Corydalis and the Hepatica. Corydalis, as you can see, if I come down, you can see its leaves have gone yellow. It just lets go. I didn't have to pull that. The bulb just, or the little corm just shuts itself down, and all that just comes away. It'll have left its seed, and then you can see the Hepaticas leaves. They get to see the light. The yellow erythroniums here are grandiflorum. The white ones I can see over there, they're Erythronium elegans. There's more of that anemones, double ones. That's not so bad actually, that's quite a nice little one. You can see some of the bigger petals. I don't like the ones that have just got lots of little petals, but when you compare it with the real thing, that's my favourite. So we come round past the erythronym, yellow grandiflorum there, the elegans, little pink revolutum, and then round here it's lovely with the erythroniums coming through and the fern just coming up. And then if we look down the back path here, going down the back, carpets of anemones and ferns sit beside the hedge. The path allows me to get in to clean the hedge. Just quite nice walking around in this. You don't think there's much. You see the dicentra, and then you start looking about in it and you start seeing Trillium flexipes and Trillium erectums. We see fritillate lilies seeding in, Lilia martigans seeding around. And Trillium erectum hybrids with probably flexipes. Really striking colour variations. So it's probably an erectum flexipes hybrid. Comes out like that at its peak and it fades over. Gets darker. Here's a rectum itself flowering in here. Coming up to Trilliums here, the Trillium albidum. And if I move around we can come up here. These are grandiflorums with quite a pink flush to them. It's a whole batch of seedlings we've got that came like that. This is the Gothenburg pink form. So hopefully they'll be sharing pollen with these, and we'll get more and more of a range. Over there's the Trillium flexipes, and down here more grandiflorum seedlings that are seeding around. Some are quite white. And there's albidum. Yeah, Trillium albidum seeded there. And then all the different foliages. Here we have some Fritillaria affinis, the yellows pushing up, a few flowers. Not quite as vigorous as it was last year, but bonsai pine. Starting to, well, I call it a bonsai. It's growing in a pot, it's tortured. That extraordinary trunk shape. I actually created that because it was just a stick going up, and so I sawed a V shape out of the trunk in a few places to create a joint, and then not going all the way through, but through quite a chunk, and then bent it over so that it these bent. So I took a V out there so I could bend it to that angle, knowing that it would graft itself back. So the bit on the outside was left intact, and that's how I got that shape. And it's probably now 35 or 40 years old. I do quite like, you know, the Ball's golden grass. It brings a cheery colour to the garden, and if you don't want it, you can get rid of it. In here and amongst, there's all sorts going on. There's Trillium rivalis still flowering away in there. Most of the Hibbersenii have gone over. Hopefully will be setting nice seed. See the big leaves there of Erythronium sibiricum and Caucasicum. As we look down, we'll go round and down there. The big anemone Nemorosa hybrids, well, not hybrids, but selections. Yesterday in the sunshine they were all, had their faces open, full open, they're big flowers. I think this is called the Leeds variety. It's a great plant. I come up here, the rhododendron. I think that's Merganza, the yellow one. I may be mistaken, but I think that's it. These are the ones, they're a little dwarf, but they've got quite tall. And last year I took some branches off that were coming over the path to see how well they would regenerate. And I think you can see they will regenerate, so my plan, if I'm brave enough, is to cut this bed of dwarf rhodies down and let them regrow, I think. But I haven't committed to that 100% yet, because I kind of quite like them that way, the way they are. I would lose the structure. It would change the look, it would open this area a bit. So you have to consider all these things before you cut things down. Like, how will it change the composition of the garden, if you like? The wall with the See, this weather is just so perfect for these wee trilliums and pseudo-trilliums growing here. They really are happy in this weather. You can see when they seed how they're bending their stems down to tuck their seed in down below. And I'll give them a bit of a hand when they seed, just to make sure seeds go into the place that I would like them. This is Craigton Cream, one of our own hybrids. One of the things I like about it, it's very prolific, it increases well vegetatively, but what I like is that it tends to hold its flowers sideways, so you see the flower, whereas a lot of them their flowers tend to face downwards. And that's the going over now, the Craigton Cover Girl, past their best. Philodistea lutica, the yellow, creamy yellow. And the other Philodices down there, purple ones. Up here we have, it's always interesting at this time of year because I'm looking and we're seeing these big ones are hybrids. They've hybridized off of White Beauty over there. And these wee Erythronium revolutum, very distinct form. But you can see it seeds, that form goes through the seed line. They all stay distinct, very much like pass on all their genes, and then as opposed to the bigger ones, which we'll see when we go round there actually. And this bed is peonies and lathyrus, wild pea. Some of the flowers that will come once the bulbs go over, I can see them pushing up, so there's the Doronicums and more peonies. All sorts I've been cramming in here. In the path, very typical of a Erythronium hybrid, you get more flowers on a stem usually. And it just goes on. Similar pattern, some more trilliums. Trillium grandiflorum, mostly the white. White's a good colour to push into the dark corners because it stands out. Peony. More peonies. Aquilegias coming up. Alliums. It's the painting all over. I just see it as the garden's like a sheet of paper or my canvas. The plants are like my paints and pencils that I can draw and paint with. Oh, who's that? And you find things. What is this? Oh no, it's a whoa! This is falling over. Oh, sorry if I made you feel funny, but I just nearly fell over there. Very pale. Not as unusual. Just a seedling. It's obviously something like a Coribiaceae or something, but very pale white, just with a ghost hint of purple. I've not seen that one before, so this is it. Even in your own garden, when you let things seed around, you'll find things. I'll remember that I stood in a rock there. That rock used to be solid, but it must be getting pushed up by a tree root because I used to be able to stand on it to get in there. Now it's wobbly, I can't. And so let me just show you around here. If we come back to just that way, all those little dark Erythronium revolutums that came from a site in Vancouver Island, the seed that originally got, they're really the ones that stay short, stay dark, stay single flowered for the most part, occasional double, but majority single. And then if you come round and compare it with this lot, much taller and paler, and also this one hybridizes more freely with the Craigton, not Craigton, with the White Beauty. So White Beauty and this one hybridize very freely, so that's Californicum and Revolutum. Whereas the little one, it hybridizes with the Elegans better. So it's interesting. More trilliums, and this is the path, which I'm sure I've showed you before. This nice light, this is why I'm quite happy to video here today, because the light's good. It's that flat light, like I did in the rain. The last video was in quite heavy rain. This is not the rain, this is the har. But you may hear water if I'm quiet. You hear drips. That's because the mist, the clouds, it's just the water settling out on the leaves, and then it runs off and drips down. But you can see the sort of landscape vistas we like to create. This is the Betula utilis, the white Himalayan white birch, towering above my head. And this is just the one canvas, because all these areas that are carpeted with the low early spring flowers, as we move into the summer, it will grow up and we'll get all the herbaceous stuff coming up through, and the taller bulbs, summer flowering bulbs. It's quite good, the white trillium. Accidental, of course, underneath the white rhododendron. My mind's going blank, I can't remember that one's name at the moment. It's a species. This one's shocking colour. Stunning. Colour is orbiculare. I suppose we should just look up a bit. Look up. So it's I've remembered its name now, that's Rhododendron faberi. And there's the white birch. And there's a native birch. Rhododendrons. The acers. There we go, we'll just go to finish and wind up as I head back down this way. But one last more look round, because all this will change the structure, the hard structure. The pines and the trees will remain visible landmarks, you know, they're the structure, they'll remain, but the ground level planting will change. It'll become taller, more lush, it'll become more jungle-like. You can see here all the Aquilegias and Camasias, and hopefully there'll be all sorts of other things coming up here because I put more and more seeds in. Yes, that really can't stay, that's a and that's a Lilium martigam seedling coming right in the middle of the path. That's not going to be sensible. Round here more, just the same everywhere, Trillium erector. Once you get plants and you get them seeding, whether you collect the seed and sow it on and plant it out or just let them seed themselves, you can repeat the plantings all around the garden and create this lovely continuity. Over there the Erythronium, more hybrids, and the Rogersia leaves and against the shuttlecock ferns. Round here, Primula veris. Down there the primrose, Primula vulgaris, and then its hybrid. Well, there's its hybrid over there. It's now past flowering. I showed it the last time. So. All this on a wet May day. People often say, how can you grow all these plants? They grow so well for you. Well, they grow so well for themselves. It's choosing the right plants for your garden, your weather conditions. And people will think you're a good gardener. So I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.